Grace and peace. Welcome to Judah's Roar Domestic Violence Awareness Initiative YouTube channel. I'm your host, Apostle Cheryl. Before we get started, I'm going to give you a few seconds to check down here below the video and make sure you subscribe if you've not done so already. And then click that bell for notifications, and that way you'll receive a notice every time we upload a new video, which is typically every Sunday evening at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to address those things. It's one really amazing way that you can partner with us, and you can simply view our videos, share our videos. If you can't watch it when we actually are in the live chat on Sunday afternoons, then you can share it when you get the notice and then watch it at your earliest convenience. Thank you so much. Now, today, y'all know I like to ask questions, right? So today we're going to be talking about, is your relationship healthy? Is your relationship healthy? Is your relationship healthy? If you're not in a relationship currently, or if you don't have a relationship that you're really concerned about at this point in time, think about a previous relationship that you've had, and you can kind of do an assessment. Okay, so let's get started. Did you know that your relationship and the quality of it can have a very definitive impact on your mental, emotional, and even physical health? Did you know that? That it really does impact any relationship that we hold in high esteem, a relationship that we're really, really concerned about or that really matters to us can impact our mental, our physical, our emotional, and even our spiritual health. And so we're going to take a look at that. To a very large degree, this relationship, whichever it is the vehicle through which we navigate life, right? It's what shapes our perspective, it's what shapes our worldview, it's what helps us to believe what is possible for us, right, in our life. And so it's very, very important. Certainly, if your relationship is healthy, then life overall looks great, right? It looks awesome, and the sky is the limit, and you can seize the day, and you can take the hill, and you can, and it's you and me against the world, and if it's healthy, if it's healthy. On the other hand, on the other hand, if it's not healthy, it can contribute to the challenges that we face in day-to-day life, feeling insurmountable, and it can cause us to feel trapped, and it can cause us to feel helpless and powerless, and thereby negatively impact our emotional, our physical, our spiritual, our mental health. What constitutes a healthy relationship? What is a healthy relationship? Well, before we talk about that, let's talk about what it isn't. Okay, let's talk about what it isn't. And then that'll help us to recognize the real deal, you know, when it's presented to Here's us. Some things for you to consider. Ask yourself, ask yourself, when you are away from home or when you are away from that relationship, right? How do you feel when it's time to reconnect? How do you feel if we're talking about an intimate partner? How do you feel when it's time to return home? How do you feel when it's time to re-enter that space where the other part of this relationship resides? How do you feel? Do you feel great? Are you anticipating reconnecting with them? Or is it like, oh my God, now I have to go home? Okay. Are you rushing to get home, obeying all traffic laws? Are you rushing to get home, or are you finding 10 little menial tasks that you need to do before you get there because you really don't want to go? You really don't want to go. Okay, so that's a question. Overall, in your day-to-day life, do you feel anxious or sad or irritable or depressed? You feel like you're on the verge of tears all the time? Um, do you feel like a cat on a hot tin roof, like your nerves are just shot? You feel like that? Okay, that's not a good indicator. Do you have frequent, what we call somatic complaints? Frequent headache, frequent backache, upset stomach, nausea. Okay. And so these are an indication of some chronic stress may be taking place. Are you exhibiting signs of stress? Are you exhibiting signs of stress? Well, what are you talking about, Apostle? Well, here we go. Are you increasingly irritable, more irritable than usual? Are you more withdrawn than usual? Are you isolating? Are you eating too much? Are you not eating enough? Are you sleeping more than you normally need to sleep? Okay. Um, these are all indicators that your stress level is increased. And honestly, if it gets to the place where you realize that, people are saying things to you and you're like snatching their face off, things that you normally would be able to just let go, and you find yourself responding to things, and every little thing is just tap dancing on your last nerve. That's an indication also that there may be some chronic stress going on that's not being addressed. Okay. And when it's not addressed, it just gets worse. All right. Is your partner, or is this other person in this relationship that matters to you so much, are they critical of you and not in a productive way? Sometimes in society we think that criticism is a bad thing, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's if it's productive. And by that I mean it's one thing to say you didn't do the dishes right, okay, and break a dish for emphasis. And it's a completely different thing to say, I think maybe the dish soap that we're using is not the best out there. Um, so maybe we should try something else. That's completely different than the first example I gave, which is where the partner criticizes how the dishes are done and then breaks the dish, right? So, is the criticism constructive? Is it designed to help you to improve? Is it designed to help the relationship to improve? Or is it designed to simply tear you down? Okay, that's a question. Does your partner control who your friends are, control how often you interact with loved ones, control when you go to the store, how long you have to be there, et cetera, et cetera? Okay, now, I'm not talking about COVID. I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about that. Okay. Without a pandemic, before the pandemic, okay? The pandemic's not even an excuse because it was happening before the pandemic. In your relationship, did you feel like you needed permission to talk to your mother? Permission to talk to your father, your sister, your brother, your cousin? Did you feel this sense of disapproval if you talked to them for too long, or what your partner thought was too frequent? Um, are they critical of your church? Are they critical of a support group that you belong to? Okay. And so these are all things that you want to consider. Have they hurt or threatened you? Has your partner hurt you? Have they threatened you? And some threats don't have to be verbalized. A threat can be delivered very effectively without words. Okay. And so, do you feel threatened? Do you feel unsafe? Or have they actually said to you, I'm going to hurt you? Have they threatened self harm? Have they threatened to harm you? Have they threatened to harm your pet, your loved ones, your friends, your employer? Okay. Anyone in your support system? Um, are they pretty much stalking you, checking the mileage on the car? These are all things that you want to consider. And these are all incredibly unhealthy indicators, okay, of a relationship that most certainly is having a negative impact on your overall quality of life. Have they threatened self harm? Have they threatened suicide? And see, often what will happen is if a toxic partner threatens self harm, it's really an attempt to control and manipulate you and to make you feel responsible for whatever they do next and to make you responsible for preventing them from doing what they just said that they were going to do. So, under those conditions, if you take that bait, if they complete suicide or not, you're going to feel as though it's your fault. Okay. And that's the whole plan. That is the whole plan. They're so committed to hurting you that they would hurt themselves in order to hurt you. Okay. And so that's incredibly unhealthy and it's incredibly dangerous and incredibly toxic. If you've answered yes to any of those questions, and at the very least, your relationship requires further scrutiny. There's not a single question that I just posed that if the answer is yes, that it's okay. Okay, it's an indicator that there's some other things going on there. All right. Now, what can you do? What can you do? You know, you just sat through the first few minutes of this video and you're thinking, I'm appalled. This relationship is really, really not a good thing. It's not healthy. Well, what can you do? What can you do? Talk with someone. I think the most important thing that you can do besides educate yourself is to talk to someone. Talk to a trusted confidant. Talk to a domestic violence advocate. Talk to someone who not only can listen to you and empathize with you, but who can help provide you with the tools and the resources that you need to rebuild your life and to find yourself in a healthy place. Okay. So educate yourself, and that's an ongoing thing, right? Ongoing self education. And there are plenty of resources out here, but also continue to talk to someone, continue to communicate with someone, because one of the greatest weapons that a toxic or abusive partner has in a relationship is isolation. And what that does is it deprives you of any input that would counter the negativity that you're being exposed to. So you want to stay in contact with other humans. You want to stay in contact with other humans somehow, okay? And engage in ongoing education. Then join a support group for whatever your issue is, whatever your struggle is, whether it's depression, whether it's domestic violence in general, whether it's anxiety, whatever it is. Find a support group that can help you and provide resources in the area that you most need it in, all right? And then take steps to reduce your stress level. Take steps to actually reduce your stress level. Get a thorough physical examination. Okay. And why is this important? Because ongoing chronic stress can cause physical illness in us. It can affect our blood pressure, it can affect our gut health. You can develop ulcers, and, you know, like I said, hypertension, uh, heart disease. All these things can come from just too much ongoing stress and pressure. Okay. Implement a healthy sleep hygiene regimen. Set a time to go to bed, or a range of time. I'm going to go to bed between 10 and 11, no matter what. Find things that can help you to relax when you're trying to go to sleep. You know, for me, it's music. I listen to music, and sometimes I'll listen to music and all night while I'm sleeping. So aromatherapy is a good thing. Get a diffuser, put some essential oils in it, something that's going to help you to calm down and to self-soothe. Okay. Um, and then incorporate exercise. Exercise is incredibly important. It's important that you keep your body moving. And so these are things that you can do that can help you to feel better, right? In both the short and the long term, and put you in a better headspace in terms of how to navigate that relationship if you've decided that it's unhealthy. Now, if you feel unsafe, you get this sense of, I'm really not safe and this critter might hurt me in here, okay? Then there's some things that you can do to prepare for that. Again, continue your self education, that ongoing education. Again, continue to talk to someone, keep somebody in the loop regarding what's going on with you. Um, Put together an escape bag, okay, an emergency kit with legal documents, with medications, with a burner phone, um, some money, some cash, or a debit card reserved just for that purpose, something like that. And then, if you can't leave it at home, leave it in a place that you can access it. Leave it with someone who's not going to tell the abusing person that it even exists, okay? And I suggest this in case you have to exit quickly and you don't have time to gather your things, okay? So, legal documents, medications, let's see what else. I mentioned a burner phone, I mentioned cash. That's it. Those are the main things. If you have a passport, your driver's license, things that you know you will need in order to function outside of that setting. If you're in immediate danger, though, call 911. If you're in immediate danger, call 911. And then you can always reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Okay, so that's if it's unhealthy. Now we're going to talk about some indicators of a healthy relationship. Okay. Let the record reflect. You listening? That a healthy relationship overall does not indicate the complete and total absence of disagreement. As a matter of fact, I suspect that if there's never any disagreement, someone's relinquished their autonomy and someone's relinquished their identity because you've got two different humans trying to navigate life together, and they've got different experiences, they have different strengths, they have different weaknesses. So a healthy relationship probably involves some disagreement, but there's an amicable way to resolve disagreement, and there's a mutual respect for the other individual, and also there's an acceptance of each partner's right to have their own opinion and a willingness to work things through to find a solution that's not extraordinarily detrimental to either one of them. Okay, so some indicators of a healthy relationship. Here's some good indicators. Here's some good indicators. Your partner is willing to engage in meaningful, truthful dialogue when there are issues. Your partner is willing to engage in truthful, authentic dialogue when there are issues. Your partner keeps their word. Their word is their bond. You can trust what they say. They say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. Your partner allows you to be your authentic self, right? Without an attempt to manipulate, gaslight, recreate you, okay? They figure out how to live with you without abandoning or denigrating themselves. And it is possible, okay? Is your partner supportive of your goals? Not are they interested in your goals. You want to be a pilot and they don't want to be a pilot, they don't support you, that's not a good thing. Are they supportive of your goals? And again, this goes back to recognizing that as an individual, you have your own needs and wants and desires. Okay. Are they supportive? Well, how can they be supportive of a goal that's not necessarily their goal? They can help you create the atmosphere that you need in order for you to acquire your goal. That's how they can do it. They can offer encouragement. They can offer practical support. Um, they can understand that maybe you have to study or spend time learning this craft that you want to master. Um, okay. And in an unhealthy situation, they would be tantruming and cutting up because you're spending time doing something other than staring into their eyes. Okay. Are you able to agree to disagree? And by that, I mean that it's not always necessary that you all come to the conclusion that out of options A, B, and C, B is the right option. Are you able to agree that maybe you think A is the right option and they think that C is the right option? And are you able to table it and address it later? Or can you find some way to merge those two things so that everyone gets at least something that they want and no one loses out altogether? Can you agree to disagree? Are your desires and your hopes and dreams important to your partner? Get this, because they're important to you, not because they share them necessarily, but because they matter to you, they matter to your partner. Okay, if you can say that, if you can say yes to these things, then your partner is probably really also your friend. And I think that's one of the most important things that can be present in a relationship, because friends look out for each other, right? Friends have one another's back. And that doesn't mean that they back each other when they're dead wrong, okay? A true friend will tell you the truth. And a true friend will risk you getting upset and falling out on the floor and having a conniption or a fit of carnality, because they care more about you and your well being and the relationship than avoiding your displeasure, okay? Now, what have we been talking about? You've been talking about We've been talking about, is your relationship healthy? And we looked at some indicators that it's decidedly unhealthy. And then we went on to discuss some indicators that it really is a healthy relationship. And so it's my prayer that this video has been helpful to you. Um, I think we should always tell ourselves the truth, even if we don't like what the truth is, okay? Because once we confront the truth, we can address the truth and we can make corrections if we need to. This is Apostle Cheryl with Judas Road Domestic Violence Awareness Initiative. You be safe out there. Blessings to you.